Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either April 18th or 19th, 2023. And I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? Let's go ahead and start off this video like we start them off every time. First, by taking a look back at my pick from 2 weeks ago, which was Spider-Man issue number 7, specifically the Ramos variant, but the book in general. The question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile pick to be my just one book pick of the week? And it's a tough one for me to comment on because frankly, I haven't read the book, but the secondary market has spoken, and they have spoken with a very loud voice and have said, yes, Jeff, that was absolutely a worthy and worthwhile just one book pick of the week. The community is going crazy for this book. Without question, to date, it is the biggest comic book of 2023, and I think it will hold that status as the biggest comic book of 2023, even when we get all the way into December. I think it's going to be a tough one to beat. It is selling on eBay regularly for about $35 to $40, closer to $40 with shipping and everything else. And that is a huge gain for a book that cost $4 in just 2 weeks. People are posting this book online and selling them, and people are scooping them up so quickly. I had one pulled at my LCS, and I actually thought that they were going to be like, sorry, Jeff, we didn't get copies, or oh, they were going to give me some excuse as to why I wasn't going to get my copy. But fortunately, I'm very happy to say that they honored my request when I called them on Saturday immediately after making my video and making my recommendation that you all do the same. As soon as I called my LCS, I added it to my poll and they gave it to me. So kudos to them. I also then went to another local comic shop I have in the area when they opened on Wednesday, and I picked up 4 more copies. Yes, for a total of 5 copies. I was pretty stoked about that because, this was an investment of about, let's see, after tax, $4.50 a piece. They're going for almost 10 times that now. So I think I did pretty well. In addition, the morning of this book coming out, an online retailer that I have bought from before sent out an email saying, we're selling copies of the Ramos variant for Spider-Man number 7 for $5 a piece. So I picked up 5 more copies, of which I only have 2 left because 3 of them did not meet my condition requirement. I think the poor condition was part of the reason this person was selling them for $5. But I took those, my least favorite 3, I sold them on Facebook for a total of $83 shipped. So I definitely made back all of my money in my investment on this book and then some. I've got 7 more copies to work with. I'm hoping to get at least 1 or 2 9/8 out of them, and because in general a lot of them have little things wrong with them here and there. But regardless, I'm very happy that I got the copies of it that I got. I hope that you took my advice because I actually hit a grand slam on this one. It wasn't a big secret, so I'm not a genius or anything. I just happened to have information to share with you all. I hope you acted on it. I hope you got at least 1 copy for yourself. If you watched my video and then you immediately acted on getting the book and you were able to secure a copy basically because you watched my video, please let me know about that down in the comments. I would love to hear about that. Okay, so that's enough talking about that book from 2 weeks ago. Now let's look at the books that are coming out this week. Now, this week I don't have a pick. There is no standout book for me. There's only one book that I am buying this week, and I am not going to make it my just one book pick of the week. So I'm going to let you know about 11 books that are coming out this week. It's kind of a lot, and I've already eaten up a lot of time with my pick from 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to move through these picks, these honorable mentions for the books this week as quickly as possible, and I'm going to comment on them very, very little. The first book I want to tell you about is a new book. It is called Terror War. That name cracks me up. Issue number 1 from Image Comics. Here's the description. Eisner-winning writer Saladin Ahmed and superstar horror artist Dave Acosta make their Image debut with this sci-fi horror series about working people fighting mind-bending monsters. Blue City was the last livable place on Earth. Now it's crawling with terrors, creatures that transform into their victims' worst fears. Humanity's last hope? Muhammad Cho and his overworked, underpaid crew of freelance terror fighters. Quote, "We're not heroes, we're contractors," end quote. Okay, this book sounds a little silly to me, but could it be entertaining to watch these somewhat average Joes fight monsters that manifest themselves into their victims' worst fears? Sure, that could be fun and entertaining, and if it sounds fun and entertaining to you, I wanted to make sure that you knew about it this week. The next book I want to mention to you is House of Slaughter, issue number 14 from Boom Studios. Here's the description. Terrified and without a prayer, Sonny faces a deadly hazing ritual. Can he survive on his own, or will the monster emerging from the dark be his end? Meanwhile, a long-awaited conversation between Jace and a woman with strange but familiar eyes reveals a past of interwoven fates and new revelations. So I mentioned House of Slaughter number 14 because it is the one book that I am buying this week. As I've mentioned before, because I love Something is Killing the Children more than any other current comic book. And this is in that world, so I am definitely interested in reading more stories. And I've had mixed feelings about the House of Slaughter title itself. The story right now is pretty good. Pretty interesting. Not as good as Something is Killing the Children, but pretty good and interesting enough. So I still support it myself, and I would recommend it to people who are enjoying Something is Killing the Children, but it's definitely not as good. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is All 8 Eyes, issue number 1 of a 4-issue limited series from Dark Horse Comics. Here's the description. In the forgotten corners of post-9/11 New York City, skittering shapes in the darkness prey on the people society leaves behind. College dropout Vin Spencer floats through life in a drug and party-fueled haze until one terrible night sweeps him into a drifter's reckless war against the giant 8-legged horrors stalking the city. Jaws meets arachnophobia in a new vision of creature feature terror from Eisner-nominated writer Steve Fox and dread-inspiring artist Piotr Kowalski. Okay, so this is more people fighting monsters. I think we're 3 for 3 on that this week. I think between All 8 Eyes, House of Slaughter, and Terror War, we basically have 3 stories about people fighting vicious, deadly, horrible monsters. There's no shortage of that in comic books these days. So that's probably part of the reason why I'm less than enthusiastic about some of these titles. But this one sounds like it could be pretty interesting, and people really, really hate spiders, and this looks to be kind of spider-ish. Yeah, I think they're spiders. Yeah, if it's in something that might be interesting to you, it's now on your radar. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is Captain America, Unforgiven, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Captain America, vampire hunter? The Forgiven have lost their way. Defeat after defeat has made them bitter and bloodthirsty, and they're starting to like it. Can Captain America bring them back into the light, or will they give in to their darker natures? Witness the thrilling conclusion to the Unforgiven saga, if you dare. Okay, I like having fun with the kind of hack way that some of these descriptions are written sometimes. But I have not been following the this Unforgiven storyline at all. I know that there was something key that I believe came out of the Spider-Man installment of this. Sounds like it could be pretty interesting. I've said before that I'm a little bit played out on vampires in general, and this seems to have a vampire vibe to it. But then again, I read DC versus Vampires, and I thought it was really enjoyable. So I'm not saying that this won't be. This very well could be. So if you like Marvel and you like kind of the creepy side of things and vampires and such, you might consider picking up Captain America Unforgiven, issue number 1 this week. The next book I want to mention to you is Warlock Rebirth, issue number 1 of a 5-issue limited series, also from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Adam Warlock was created to be the perfect human specimen. Since then, Adam has gone on to be a cosmic savior, defending the galaxy from the likes of Thanos, the Universal Church of Truth, and the Magus. But what will happen when the next evolution of Warlock emerges? Someone who is stronger, faster, and smarter than Adam. Don't miss this untold story of Adam Warlock and the Infinity Watch as Ron Mars and Ron Lim introduce a new character that will forever impact Warlock's legacy. If I was forced to pick a just one book pick for this week, it would probably be this one for no good reason, other than something in my gut is a little bit stirred up by this description. Specifically, the last line, introduce a new character that will forever impact Warlock's legacy. We all know that Warlock is coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I kind of have to wonder if, you know, when they're telling stories about these characters, if they're sometimes like, we don't want to be too beholden or to the past of the character and the interactions of the character. We want to try something new with the character, and that might involve creating a new character, one that would get some legitimacy if they initially premiered it in a comic book. So, because Warlock is coming into the MCU, and because this solicitation does promise a new character, it does get my ears perking up a little bit. So I would recommend you do the same. If you're not interested in buying this book, like I am not currently interested in buying this book, at least make sure you're paying attention to any news that might be coming out about it, any talk about it, because there might end up being some there. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is Cryptidals. Weird title. Issue number 1 of a 7-issue limited series from Blacktooth Comics. Here's the description. The secret war of monsters has begun. La Llorona, the Man-Dog, Spring-Heeled Jack, the Goat-Man, Kid Cthulhu, Quetzalcoatl, cryptids, monsters, legends. They must come together as the Cryptidnulls to stop El Hongo and his legions of evil tulpas, sinister beings created through the power of belief from destroying reality. It's cryptids versus creepypasta. This seems a bit silly, but it also could be silly fun. It also could be silly entertaining. It's got a lot of classic kind of urban legend type monsters in here, which, as you can tell by my brutal pronunciation of some of their names, I am not a huge fan of, I guess, in a way, or at least I don't have a lot of exposure or interest in these characters, but a lot of people do, and a lot of people love the monster stuff. So if you're into the monster stuff and you want to try a publisher that I don't think I've ever heard of, you might consider Cryptidnulls, issue number 1 this week. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is called Soko, issue number 1 of a 4-issue limited series from Sumerian Comics. Here's the description. A routine traffic stop for 2 Serbian beat cops quickly descends into corruption and betrayal as a dark trail of evidence leads to the discovery of unimaginable depravity. Mark Waid says Soko is energetic and kinetic as hell. It gripped me from page 1 and wouldn't let go. Short, sweet, I would say effective description right there. It basically tells you what you need to know. It sets the tone for what the story is going to be. And I have to say, I am low-grade interested in seeing what this is all about. I am choosing not to pick up this book because I can. But there is something interesting there. And it does imagine, it does mention evidence leads to the discovery of unimaginable depravity. Now, this might just be me, but I can imagine a pretty deep level of depravity. I don't know about you, but my depraved mind can go pretty deep in the imagination. So if they can go into the unimaginable level of depravity, something that I can't even imagine, I'd be interested to see that. So there might be something entertaining to this book. I wanted you to know about it this week. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is called Black Demon Tales, issue number 1 of a 3-issue limited series from Scout Comics. Here's the description. Chispa, which I believe is kind of like the subset of Scout Comics that's publishing this. When Mexican naval researcher Bella Gonzalez is wounded in an attack by a massive shark, she dedicates herself to destroying it. But can science eradicate something as ancient and supernatural as the Black Demon? Black Demon Tales is an anthology based on the lore of real Mexican fishermen blended with indigenous beliefs. Now, a major motion picture. Okay, well, the fact that this is a major motion picture is, I wonder how major, because I don't know what they're talking about. What is Black Demon Tales? I've never heard of this major motion picture, but they say it is. So I didn't bother doing more research on it, so I invite you to do so if you like. But yeah, I mean, this could be entertaining. It's based in Mexican fishermen folklore, I guess, and some indigenous beliefs. So there's some historical storytelling going on here. I don't know. It could be interesting. If it sounds interesting to you, I wanted you to know about it. Okay, guys and gals, we got 3 more books to talk about. Home stretch. The next honorable mention that I have for you is DC Silent Tales. Issue number 1, it's a one-shot from, obviously, DC. Here's the description. Gustavo Duarte brings his style of humor to the DC universe in 6 short stories featuring funny moments in your favorite superheroes' lives. Where does Harley buy her mallets? What happens to Superman's radioactive clothes? What's a day off like for Cyborg? Be sure to check out this entirely silent comic. That's interesting to me. This could either be really, really good or a gigantic train wreck. It is 6 humor stories told completely without dialogue from the DC universe. That's not an easy thing to do. It's going to be a lot of sight gags, I guess, and a lot of, I don't know. It's tough to do that. And if they accomplish that, kudos. So if you like something that's taking a big swing and taking a big risk and trying something, not necessarily something new, but something brave and difficult, I would consider checking this out this week. If you like DC characters and you want to see some kind of lighthearted stories about, you know, untypical moments from their life, this is a good book for that as well. So there's a lot of good stuff and good reasons to check out this book this week. So I absolutely had to let you know about it. The next book I want to mention to you is a new book. It is 7 Years in Darkness, issue number 1 of a 4-issue limited series from CEX. Not sure what that publisher is, but here's the description. The Academy of Black Magic has reopened its doors for the first time in 200 years. 72 children will walk through the Academy doors for freshman years, but only 7 will graduate and walk out alive. Their 7-year journey starts here, in this dark and sweeping fantasy epic from acclaimed comics creator Joe Schmalke, featuring a 1-in-10 variant cover by living legend Bill Sienkiewicz. This sounds pretty interesting. I mean, first off, we have 72 children, 65 of which will die during their 7 years at this school. I don't like those odds myself. I don't think I'd send my kid there, and if I was a kid, I don't think I'd want to go there. No matter how appealing going to an Academy of Black Magic might be. This seems like it could be a pretty cool story. I am open to the idea of stories about killing children. I do love something is killing the children. Be interesting. This could be really good. I would say that if you're going to take a flyer on an indie this week, I might say try this one. It is only a 4-part limited series, so the commitment is really, really low. It's a $4.99 book, so it's not stupid expensive per issue, so it'll cost you about $20 when it's all said and done before tax if you get the whole thing. Could be good, so I had to let you know about it this week. And the last honorable mention that I have for you this week, and the last book I'm going to talk about at all, is a new book. It's Dawn of DC, Superboy, The Man of Tomorrow, issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from DC. Here's the description. Connor Kent takes center stage. After the events of Dark Crisis, Connor feels out of place with the rest of the hero community. He doesn't fit in with the rest of the Superman family, and the rest of the world doesn't really need him with so many supers in Metropolis. He doesn't want to rely on Tim, Cassie, and Bart, so Connor looks to the stars as a place he might be able to call his own and carve out his own path. But what lurks in the great unknown? Are bravado and swagger enough to help Superboy find his new calling? This is the 2022 round robin winner, picked by you, the fans. Okay, so I don't know what the 2022 round robin was. It does say picked by the fans. So I guess maybe there was some kind of voting that happened that asked people, hey, what character do you want to see get their own title? And maybe it was Superboy. And I guess I can see that. Now, I know nothing about this Superboy at all, but he does seem to be an edgier, cooler, maybe, version of like a Superman, and that might be exactly what the Superman kind of like mantle needs. So, and also I love the fact that this Superman is taking their journey into outer space. I think that is a fantastic place for Superman to go. Sometimes the challenges that Superman faces on the planet Earth seem a little trite. Superman is tough to write for. But you send a Superman-type character, in this case Superboy, out into the cosmos and you open up the potential for cool fights, basically, with a Superman-level character. And that could be very, very entertaining. So, yeah, if you like Superman and you like Superboy and you want to try something new, here you go. All right, that's it. We've had some really, really great weeks for comic books. We were due to have a less great week, and that is this week right here. But there are some things that were worth mentioning to you. I hope you found some value in the information I provided. If you did, please hit that like button. I'd like to see more double digits likes this week, okay? I usually get 8 or 9. Let's get at least 10 likes this week. Come on, people. We can do it. In addition, if you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to do that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.